Yo, um, yo, yo, yo. Haha. Um, don't know why the quality is so bad. There we go. Seems to have fixed it. Okay, let us have a look-sees. Mm-hmm. Okay. Plug this in. Plug this phone in. Open the stream on my phone so I can hopefully read the chat and stuff. Okay, how do I... Okay, there we go, opening the chat. Okay, I have the chat open, I can... how do I change this to be, like, all chat instead of just, like... Yeah, all messages, because YouTube defaults suck. Okay. So, what we are doing right now is, I have implemented almost all of init image, except for, this part. Right, this part here is, not implemented. And the code looks scary. So yeah, let's open up IDA twice, because we need two IDAs. Also need a lib default. Yeah, high speed coder. How are you? Okay, so init image. Push F5. Okay, so there is right. So there's this part. If the mid-mount level was greater than 0, this is actually always the case. But yeah. Then all this stuff. And all this stuff I haven't implemented because, well, it looks scary. But I'm gonna try to do that now. So first things is pretty simple. Is they inverse the pixel format size, which is this thing. So do they ever use pix format by itself? They do. Okay. So pix. And I'm going to actually not do that in mine. I believe this is a compile optimization, where pix format is like, I bet they just do this pix format, right? Whenever they use it. So yeah. Then there's new option, which is unc0 plus 28, but does not dereference either. So it's literally just adding 28 to it. What is 28? As hex 1c. Okay, so I've got new option, which is a GL void apparently. Where is this? Unc0 is when this function is called, which is in a few places. When you create a texture and when you load an image. So yeah, when you create a texture and you load an image. When you create a texture, it's 0. But what about when you load an image? Yeah, this is actually, there's like more. This dot's just as like more. This cross references too. There's actually 3 instances of it. So there's two in load image. Okay. So when you call load image, oops, I just ran. I just ran it. No. That's the wrong button. Go away. I have to get back to where I was now. In an image. Okay. So, as I was saying, when you Yode image, it gets called twice. So here it gets called unk0, which gets set to... this is just unk0 is actually like a pointer of some kind, because like it's used here. Yeah. Yeah, it's used as a pointer, even though it's not a pointer. Right, okay, Actually, let's look at Yode. Let's look at Yode image real quick, see if we can figure out what this even is. So apparently it's 199 of them. How much is that in like bytes? 8 is 754 is 107 or 796. Divided by 4, sorry. So what time is 4, so I won't know. 796. Okay, so uint 8t unk 0 7 6. Okay, so we mem set it, then we do something with it. Call calculate mipmaps, and we alloc some stuff, and then we copy some data into it or something. But I'm not sure what this is about. What are these? Okay, I don't know any of this is about. We use it's some kind of buffer, Kiawe. These parameters are okay. It's some kind of object actually, because there's a width, a height, a mipmap level in here, an option, and then the underlying like image itself too, right? But when we do when the case we call it, the only one that's actually in SnowPME at the moment, it's this. So we actually know else is actually a pointer to some kind of object. So that's helpful. It's some object. So yeah, but it only does it if like it checks if it's used. And this isn't a dereference, right? This only dereferences here. So this is again compiler nonsense. It actually would just be used here. Okay. So we can ignore that for now. So let's change this such that the void pointer of it's actually a void pointer, right? However, we don't know what this is used for yet. And currently, when we do this, it's just null pointer. Right. And in an image. So immediately, if unk0 is not equal to null pointer, then we're just going to unimplemented message unk0 null unimplemented. There we go. So now I can not worry about any of that. That's the default. That is not. Okay. So the first thing it does is it checks if the height and the width is yes and 0, and if it is, it sets it to 0. That's simple enough. And it seems sensible. Actually, check if it's yes and 1, but check if it's yes and 1 and set it to 1. So I guess we can do that. Okay. Yeah, you did PSM. I did PSM avatar stuff. I'm currently running an emulator for PlayStation Mobile, actually. But yeah. Okay, there's a geovoid pixels. So, geovoid pixels, I guess. Right, so there's an OpenGL void called pixels which we set to 0. But if some object wasn't null, this is actually where we should check this. AT actually, yeah. Okay. So actually put that in here. Okay. But for now, we can just have it set to 0, which is actually like more like 0.0 because it's a 0.0, but yeah. Okay. Then the cache size, which is just this mess. This mess is the cache size apparently. And cache size equals pix format ended by the inverse of pix format plus the height. I don't understand why, but I'll take it. Ooh, it doesn't like that. I'll play it all, because I think I know why. Yeah, it's because of this. Hang on. I forgot to add this in here. Actually, it doesn't even have like it doesn't even have an L1, it just has one, right? Like yeah. That. I believe that should work. We should keep them as base type, and then we just convert this whole thing to base type, right? So also add a base type variant of this too. We just use base type, yeah. Okay. He's like us now. Ooh, it doesn't like me? There's gonna be a million errors on here, what's wrong? Missing semicolon apparently. Does anything have a semicolon on it? Also, I hate how MSVC just keeps building off this like a billion errors. It's like really annoying actually. And doesn't give you the actual useful error. Okay, so what if we just have like that one? No. What if we just have that? Okay, that works. What's something with those two? Something like that, so redefinition of basic types. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So it's pix inverse format plus height. But it doesn't make the plus height because you can't add height to I see. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, I have to add freaking height in here as well. We already have this. Oh, we have it for that way around. We have it for the other way around. Okay. It's mad about let's see, what's the issue? Warning. That's a warning. Error. Can't convert uint32 to SCEPSS core imaging font style. What am I trying to convert to it? Let's remove like these two and just have that and see if he likes that. I don't know. I guess just focus on what's actually needed right now for this. Okay. Now it's not getting annoyed by it being okay. So pixel format height plus times the bits per pixel times pixel format, so pix format, ended with inverse of pix format, plus width, all of that, you add 7, and the whole thing like here, yeah, you divide by 8 for some reason. And that's the size of the cache, I guess. I don't know why that's the size of the cache, but that's the size of the cache. Okay. Then you set the cache size, so cache size. I guess I could just set that directly, huh? Can't I? Yeah. And then if I is yes in mid-map level, oh, is there like a U here? There's a I graded just pair, so there's like a U pair where it checks if it's graded in mid pair level, so there's like a 4 U. Well, it's let's see. If pix format then geo compressed image, geo compressed image text image 2D, right? This geo texture pixel buffer type I for my component. Width, height. Zero. Geo image. I guess this is only the image size, right? Image size. So this is total image size in bytes, I guess. And then pixels. Otherwise, text image 2D, right now, so create the image, obviously, then after creating the image, right, then we half the image size next bitmap, right, so we width 2, height 2, so half the size of the image, makes sense. Oh, this whole thing's inside the loop. Oh, okay. All of this up to like, yeah, this whole thing is in the loop. So let's pop all of this in here. Generate pixel buffer. Generate current map. And then calculate the image size. Somehow this gives us the image size, and I don't really understand how. But sure. Wouldn't it just be 4 or like 4 bits per pixel, so 8 or thing? I don't know. This is probably a keener way to do this, but I just want to make it work for now. Okay. So now if I is less than 0, less than equals 0, which is pretty much the same check here, then we check if there's an OpenGL error. So OpenGL a pixel buffer like this. Check GL error. Only if there isn't a GL error, then we Oh, this returns true if there is no error, and returns. Guess this name is check no GL error, but like the official name is check GL error. It's a weird name. If this equals false, there is an error in OpenGL, then we set the current texture back to the previous texture, and we return PSM error no error. For some reason, if there is an OpenGL error, else if GL get error this map variable equal 1. Yeah, and the rest basically it checks is greater than the map variable, which if it is, then it breaks. So that should be equivalent to this, I think. Okay. So, only thing I'm not too sure about is how exactly. I think this new option, because it adds this new option each time. I think this is supposed to be some way of mipmaps somehow, right? Probably an array of mipmaps. Right. So probably array of mipmaps. Because it adds one each time, right? Which, you know. Let's see how this looks like on Android real quick as well, just in an image. So I've got GLGen textures. So the versions much. Yeah, they do that. Interesting. Somehow this gets the size of the image, which I don't understand how. But also, it's also code for that in image import, where we yeah, image import width times height times channels. Why can't I just do that? Like, is that even the same output? Like, it's pix format ANDed with pix format again, times the bits per pixel plus the width, and then the whole thing divided by 8 for some fucking reason. Plus 7 divided by 8. Like, I don't understand what the plus 7 divided by 8's for, but the rest of it makes sense. Like, assuming this cancels out to just be the bits per pixel, like the amount of like the size of like a pixel. What even is like that? I don't know, but we'll find out. We'll put a breakpoint here, and we'll find out what this actually does if we run through here. Okay. Set this texture. Infinite map reset. What did that actually do? What is image size actually set to? What does that do? I don't see what image size is actually set to, so I'm gonna just print this. Now I'm also curious as to what like this equals, because it keeps doing this. Okay. I just want to print both these. So I don't know what they are. Make sure to enable debug logs, and then run it. Okay, so we look. It's 0 somehow. Sure. So somehow that's 0. Does that make sense? Not. I mean, if it's pixel format none, that makes sense, because it would be 0, and you just be multiplying by 0 constantly. But like, I'm pretty sure it should be S in DXT. Is that backwards? Yeah. S in DXT1, choose none, otherwise choose 4. Eh? Where does it end up as if it was like 4? Right, because that means Pix format. Yeah, Pix format is none, which makes sense because the format we got was RGBA, and RGBA is a lower number, yeah, it's 1, which is smaller than 16. So, you know, makes sense. But what if we change this to RGBA 4444? Can I set this to 3? I can, okay. Okay, so this to 3, so now it should act as if like it did pass that check. I'm just curious. What would this generate if I did that? It would still be 0. Huh. Is this code even like... Is this even like generating this correctly at cache size? Doesn't have a height. Show texture 2D. So this is width, and then this is higher. This is the power of 2 check. Oh. So there's a power of 2 check right when it starts. Or it's like here's text 2D. His cache size, which becomes V25 plus V38 plus res width and height. For some reason, there's like a billion. It's like a billion entries of width and height in here. That's just for you. So, and then it's V25, which is equal to, which is what? V25, which is get bits per pixel. Okay, so that's BPP. That's the previous texture. That's text format type. That's components. Okay, let's just clean up this version a bunch because yeah, because this version is kind of actually, so this is just prev texture again. This is just width again. This is just height again. This is just even. How many copies of width and height do I need? Oh my god. Okay, so it does BPP times height times width, which makes sense. It makes sense to just add the width and the height together. Like, for the image size, like that makes sense. BPP height width, like, yeah. But somehow, in here it's this ended with the inverse of this plus the height, which if this just becomes 0, right? No matter what it's set to, then plus height times bits per pixel. Wait a minute. So we already established this is just 0, no matter what your input is. Plus height times bits per pixel. This is just 0 again. Plus width. But then plus 7 divided by 8. Where's the plus 7 divided by 8 coming in? That's not here. Okay. I need yet more width and height. Fucking GL width. Let me just make this GL width. GL height, I guess. It's too north and over here for some reason. so that's not all annoying. Yeah, this is just width and height again. It's just width and height again. How many width and heights? How many variables can one fucking thing generate? Oh my god. Okay, so it multiplies these by 2. It gets the cache size. This is checking it. This is checking if it's this is I. Okay. Why is this I? This is an I. Whatever. I'll name this II then, because I don't know what the other one's for. Okay. So, runs for that, and generates either a texture or... actually, this one just generates a single texture. It doesn't generate a compressed texture at all. Text image 2D. Geotext image. Yeah, it's just 2 geotext image 2D, so it's like, yeah. Anyway, I don't think this is right, but height plus width times pixel, like, that does make sense for the image size. I don't know what the plus 7 or divide by 8 is about, either. Let me read the actual, like, assembly code, actually, real quick. What is this actually in assembly? Like, synchronize with pseudocode A, I believe. Yeah, so this section synchronized with, okay. In an image, in an image down to this part. Yeah, okay, synchronized with that. So it's this I multiply, which takes the width and then adds it to EBX and adds it with ECX. Then I multiplies it with bits per pixel. What is ECX and what's EBX in this case? EBX is format properties, EBX, SPV. So adds EBX with that, and adds 3. So that's what's for the plus. Then it adds 7 to the whole thing. Yeah, this is a... I see. It actually does, like, do this. This is kind of weird. Okay. Well, I'm gonna, just for now, I don't believe this. I'm instead gonna go, with times bits per pixel, times, yeah, actually height times this pixel times width, which is what it is in Android, and makes a ton more sense, than whatever the fuck this is. Okay. So I'll just put a note here, like, seems to be accurate. Seems I also don't need this pix format because it's like the only place it's used. Ooh, and this thing's weird too. Like this $sign pix format, like inverse of pix format, which is like also strange. Like, what makes sense is if it's DXT1 or higher, then it has to be a compressed texture. That makes sense, but that's not what it's doing. I think this might just be bugged. Like, I think it might legit just be bugged, and this might just never happen. I don't know. Yeah, actually, this line only happens if it's a compressed image, right? Otherwise it just does geo text image 2D. Is this just broken? Like, is it? This code might just be broken. I might just never test this. It's like doing DXT. I don't know any PS mobile games that use DXT as a texture type. Yeah, because otherwise it's none, and this would like never do anything. Either way, this is actually plus equals, not anything else. See here, it's here is BPP times geo height times geo width, which makes sense. Right, and here it's that again, like geo width, BPP times geo height width. Or an if that for use weird PSM, use weird DXT1 calculation. Else yeah. I'll just add an if def, I guess. I'll look at features, CPP. Yeah. Don't have that in here. I'll call it, yeah, I'll call it use DXT1, maybe. I won't define it, but yeah, always have it there so you can use it. Use DXT1, you know, use DXT1 and then this whole thing, like this whole section, the Pix format, like this whole section isn't in the Android version at all. Right, like it's not. That could be, could just because it was adding, could just because it was adding PSM 2.0, but like there is no like inverting the pixel buffer type format or anything. I can see. So, like yeah, I don't see an option. I don't see where like anywhere it inverts the format or anything. Or even a check for like DXT at all in here. Yeah, there's no checks for DXT yet. Maybe DXT wasn't added yet. Do any PS mobile games even use it? Is it even documented that you can use it, like actually? DXT. DXT1. Texture 2D. It is documented, but I'm not sure if it works. I don't want to make a test case right now, so I'll just have to remember this for later. But I genuinely do not think this actually works. Like, this looks very broken. Like, this is always false, no matter what. I'm pretty sure. So it's easy. Okay. Actually, let me have a code here. Okay, so if it's yes in DXT, so if it's not the DX, if it's not any of the DXTs, then it's none. Otherwise, it's RGBA. Right. Which would end up as ccompile on 9, which this is free, so end up as inverse of 3 or inverse of 0. Inverse of 0 is always going to be 0, but inverse of 3 might be something else. No, it's a non-zero value. This will always be false. I think. I guess this is like a negative number, right? Actually, let me just check. I guess I can just do like if inverse 3. I always forget like what this is. Is it like, is it something that's yes and 0 is like becomes false, or is it like has to be exactly 0 or it's true? I don't remember. Printf. I don't know, it does work. It does work if it's yes and 3. I guess second course is DXT because that's kind of really what this is. But anyway, is DXT. But like, I'm pretty sure 3 and not 3 will always like. Let me actually check. Printf. Alright, so 3 and bitfip of 3 is what? That's always 0. What about 0 and bitfip of 0? Also always 0. This entire section is pointless. This will always just cancel out to like whatever. is txt, so it's not equal to false, I guess. We also only do this if we're using txt. Otherwise, we just use this, I guess. Yeah. I guess I'll keep the thing in here. If format greater than pixel format, then unimplemented message dxt1 is unimplemented for now. Because I need to check back on this because this doesn't make any sense. So I guess we can just do it like that. Like, I don't know if DXT was added in SDK2 or not. And if it was, that's probably why it's not in here. There we go. Now the image size actually makes sense. Not that it matters because we're using text image 2D, which doesn't take an image size. So Okay, there we go. It seems to work. Remove that part now, because it's like kind of done. Right, yeah, and then it seems to just allocate the cache, which means allocating, I guess, the image, the size. I feel like. Yeah. Image allocating the image size, I guess. Still reverse PlayStation stuff. I'm really reversing PlayStation stuff like right now. I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna say, oh, that's cool. I'm trying to. So that's the thing. Like, it tries to allocate a buffer to draw the image to, which makes sense. Except if you aren't using a DXT, then this image size is always zero. Like, is this image size always 0 on here? Or is that just like... Yeah, let me add breakpoint in here. Let me actually debug this fucking program like right here. What too many breakpoints? Okay. Add breakpoint here. This is all I care about right now. It's just this function. I don't care about anything else. So let me run this. Okay. So image size is currently 1, which is interesting. How will image size become 1? Oh, right, because it's uninitialized, so it makes sense. Okay. And it gets set to this. Yeah, it doesn't get added to this. It gets set explicitly. Which is... okay, yeah, it gets set to this, and then that gets added to the cache size. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So, I guess... How do you step over? I always forget how you step over. F8, okay. So we step over this. We end up with A8COOL. Right, how? How the hell did we end up with A8COO? Whatever. Like, width is 1E30, height is... Okay. I need Python. I'm getting a different result in here than I am here. Okay. So width is 0x1EO. So let's set width to that. And let's set height to 0x163. Because, so 168, yeah. So that's height. Okay. So for now, that's all we have. Now, pixfmt is FFFF. And pixfmt, that will do nothing. Pix format ended with pix format inverse does nothing. At least it should. Right? And that will always do nothing. I'm pretty sure that will, like, literally never do anything. Because, like, okay. I think I can actually prove this will never do anything. So, and sets the bits if both of them are set, right? Otherwise it doesn't set them. And inverse flips all the bits around. So, hang on. So, like, so we're effectively going, like, we're like 0, and then we flip the bits, we get 1, 1, 1, 1. And then, if you add those together, you're always going to get, like, these are always different, right? Like, these are always going to be different each time. So the result will always be 0, 0, 0. Like, implicitly, it seems, almost. But then pixel inverse plus height. So I guess we're actually ending it with the height? I guess? Like, I think this part can just be... I guess no, because it's ending the inverse. It's ending pix format, right? Oh wait, I have these mixed up. This is the inverse version. This is the regular one. Oh. Well, that makes a bit more sense. Okay, that makes a bit more sense. Okay, I see. So it's actually is DXT ended with, like, inverse of is DXT ended with is DXT plus width plus height. Alright. Let me actually include features. me actually like, enable use DXT real quick, just so I can like test this, because this should work. But I was running it backwards. Also, maybe this should just be free and whatever. Like, maybe it should just be 0 and free. Also, I'd rather it be like this. It's much easier to understand. It does the same thing. Like, is DXT, I guess. Right. That means this is actually not inverse. Yeah, that's actually not the inverse version. Yeah, which makes a bunch more sense. Okay, let's see if it likes us now. Let's see if we get the same result. Actually got an image size this time. A8D3B. What are we getting here again? A8COO. It's still not the same value. Like, it's still wrong. I don't know if still running the same binary though. What is this running? Oh, it's still running. This is still running Bad Apple. Hmm. Yeah, 18C00. Are the width and height the same? 1EO 168. 1EO 168. Yeah, they are the same. Why does this like not work? Like, why does this give a different answer? 1A C0. But then in here it's 18D3B. I'm also curious, does this match if I just do like width times height times 4? Like, what is that if I just hex? This isn't a compressed texture. Yes, isn't a compressed texture, and it's supposed to just, when it's not compressed, just be like width times height times specific pixel. I don't know. I think for now I'm gonna just do this, and I'm gonna just handle DXT some other time because I don't understand what's wrong with DXT. And I don't understand what the heck is going on with DXT. It makes no sense. So I'm gonna just add this. I'm gonna just add this line. Okay. And then I'm just gonna remove all this because this gives the same result, which makes sense. You know. And then is DXT we unimplemented for now, and then we just do that. To do implement DXT size calculation, and then let's just add like a note on what it is. You know. Yeah. Okay, well that makes more sense. This is easier to read anyway. I don't understand why this would even work, to be honest. But yeah. It seems weird because this checks if there's an OpenGL error, then this checks if there's an OpenGL error. But like these both check if there's an OpenGL error, and if there's no OpenGL error, this sets an error, then like returns. So like, I don't understand how this code could ever run. Can this even run? But okay. Okay, cool. So that's in an image done. Gosh, it only took like forever. It's an image done, and yes, you're making a DXT texture, but you know. I still don't know what some of these are. Why can I not decompile this anymore? Managed to break either, that's cool. Or that is basically everything in here then. That is basically this entire thing done, so that's kinda cool. This image is like competed. And this one work is the old image. I guess it's like the next case. But yeah, at some point it tries to actually yield the image, but we're not gonna worry about that for now, because we don't actually need to, because what I'm running right now doesn't actually use the old image. So I can just ignore it for now. Bad Apple doesn't use the old image, it uses this. This has got the image buffer here, but this is actually not where it should be. I guess. Oh, anyway. I also the fact that somehow there are two sets of image for like So the next thing to figure out is why there are, if you go draw image native, right? This draws a rectangle, but it draws it on like the image implementation. And it's somehow separate to the one on here, but it just allocated the old image size. So I'm not sure what that's about. And yes, they're not separate, and this somehow like maps to the one in the texture, which would make sense. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyway, that's all for today, I guess. I got done.